Welcome to the Little Birdie podcast. I'm your host, Nick Heathcote. Today, we've had a great day on the golf course and I'm joined by the two stars of the Lone Wolf Punters Club. We're going to be betting our brains out for the Melbourne Cup of Dogs at Sandown. I'll introduce Paddy McKenna first because he's won the golf this morning.
Did carry your scoot, so thankfully Troy hit a few out of bounds to keep us in the game, but I'll take that.
Yeah, it was great to see a couple of snap hooks just roll in from a guy that's playing off scratch. Paddy's off 12, I'm off 17. I've got a bit of a sore shoulder. And yeah, Troy, a little birdie tells me, little birdie tells me that you knocked off Mark Leishman. What we saw today would definitely not qualify you for that victory.
No, I didn't start off great, to be honest, but no, Paddy had a couple of too many shots up his sleeve for me, but we live and fight another day.
Yeah, we're out at Sandhurst today, and Troy's a member of the National, so any golf fan would understand the National is one of the most prestigious golf courses in Australia. Now, let's talk more about the serious business, or let's get a bit of a background on you guys. I guess, Paddy, first, how did you get into the game for the Greyhound betting? Both guys are obviously professional Greyhound punters. So, Paddy?
I guess I've always had an avid passion for racing, probably like most, grew up on the horses, all that sort of stuff. And sort of just punted away badly, I would say, for a long period of my life, and then got to a point where I just didn't really like my job. Knew that I did okay on the Greyhounds out of all the codes, and thought, why not have a crack at that? And sort of just reduced my staking and monitored my bet size and all that sort of stuff for a while to see if I could perceivably turn it into a job, and felt like I could, and took the leap of faith and never looked back. Really, I was probably a bit lucky. I'm quite sure plenty of people start. I had a really good run for my first 3 months, which gives you a few things. It gave me a bank and confidence. So suddenly, you lose that inhibition. So you could probably, I felt a bit more comfortable sort of launching into something rather than if you start with a bank and it dwindles early. You can the doubt creeps in and whatnot. So I was probably lucky on that front. And then as I said, never look back. It's a good lifestyle, I guess you'd say. So it's pretty easy to.
Here we are on a Friday.
Here we are on a Friday having a beer and playing some golf. So that's probably how I got into it.
Yeah. And what about you, Troy? What was
mine was a bit different. I was trying to be a sports person as a younger person, and sort of wasn't going to be good enough. And I was back and forth caddying for my wife, who played on a golf tour overseas. And when I was back here, I was making okay money on the punt. And then I met a fella that played at a golf club who was a retiring pro dog punter, and I basically asked him to teach me a few things, and I went and sat with him doing videos for 2 years every day.
Wow.
And he installed a lot of good stuff in me, like a lot of discipline, just going through my process every day, and what to look for when doing videos, and just into a database, and everything went from that low amateur stuff to pretty professional quickly, and I've sort of just ingrained that, and ever since then I've just had I believe I've got a good work ethic, and I've put the right steps in place to get a good result, and luckily I can stake probably well enough. It's probably one of my strengths, staking, when to press the button to say go and when to back off. I think that's the most important thing that I keep trying to tell myself.
Yeah, and then what about your style of punt? Like, what style of punter would you describe yourself as? Like, you're a tape watcher do the form? I'm
a tape watcher. I'm a heavy map reliant person. So if you put a fast trial dog next to a dog that's going to knock it down, I'm happy to take that dog on 80% of the time. Yep. So I think there's an edge in that. I think the market's still skew-iffed a little bit to the fastest dog in the race, whereas I think there's still an edge for guys. I've just met Paddy a couple of weeks ago, and he bets sort of similar to how I do, so we're very map feel guys. Yep. So hopefully come the night we can find the right map dogs, and hopefully they can come in our favour.
And what about you, Paddy? How would you classify you as what sort of style of punter? Similar to Troy?
Yeah, similar to Troy, going by what he said there. Yeah, we're probably in the same boat in terms of happy to take on the fastest dog in the race if it's not mapped to get a decent run, and then. Basically, all I'm trying to do is work out where a dog's going to position up in the run, probably at the winning post, down the back, and then what time they can run accordingly. And then, bet according to that. So, very much a map punter. I mean, you are doing data to some extent, but the data is you're trying to quantify what you see, rather than physically scraping data out of sort of internet portals or whatever. So you're doing data, but your data's through your mind in terms of how you're mapping a dog rather than actually stripping it back.
Yeah. And then, so what do you think makes a professional punter? You mentioned discipline before and structure and work ethic.
yeah, I think you just got to get it all in place and stick to it. And if you have a winning month and you're doing all those things, stick to that. Even though when you're having a losing month, you got to back yourself in. The moment you lose faith and a little bit of belief, I think that's when you get in real trouble. And I've had a couple of guys work closely with me and they've got a good bank up, and then all of a sudden they've had a bad 2 months and got back to square and then just basically frozen and wouldn't be able to have another bet. So I think that you've got to have good belief, good structures in place, and have good discipline. If you're losing 5,000 for the night, come to the last 2 races and you feel like the market, there's no edge at all, shut the laptop, go to bed, sleep well, wake up the next day because there's Bendigo or something.
Yeah, there's always another race.
That's it.
Yeah. And Paddy, would you call yourself a fearless punter?
I've probably got more fearless as you get more confident.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Troy said, it's a fine line between fearless and cavalier, between fearless and stupid. Like, you know, if you are having a bad night, there's no point being fearless into a market you don't have a perceivable edge in. So you've got to, you've got to really tippy toe down that line between being fearless and and being stupid. I guess the fearlessness comes in where, you know, conversely to say, well, what Troy was saying, where you're, you know, $5,000 down and your confidence is sort of a bit shot, but your best of the night comes up in the last. Being able to still push the button and think, oh, you know, I'm not going very well, but hey, I've marked this thing 4s, it's come up, you know, 7s or whatever. Still be happy to have a good crack at it rather than think, you know, my night's not going so well. You know, it's a bit like tossing a coin. You know, just because you've tossed 4 heads doesn't mean that, you know, a head's going to come up next time. You've just got to be able to just take a deep breath, reassess your situation, and then if you still think you've got an edge there, then still have a bet. But at the same time, as Troy said, if you didn't like the market, didn't like the race at the start of the night, just because you're up or down shouldn't change the way you bet into the last, for argument's sake. Yeah,
so you need that consistency. And I guess talking to you guys, you've got different scenarios. Troy, you got 3 kids. Paddy, you haven't had any kids yet. How much work can you get through in a week? How many meetings can you cover? And how does that sort of affect your betting? So how many meetings can you get through a week?
I do about, probably, it's a bit of the weeks vary of course, but probably get through about 10 a week. I tend not to, you get your regions, and you know, your metro meets which have a high NBL limits enable you to sort of get on
minimum
more.
bet law.
Minimum bet law. Enable you to get on a little bit more so you can concentrate a bit more on them. I do like them as well because being a mapper, you get a pretty good shot of sort of the boxes and how they come out and whatnot. So I'll definitely look at those 2, there's 4 meetings or whatever to start with, and then do a few others. But I mean, you know, it's a fine line between sitting in your room, bunkering down and, you know, being very good at the game and finding your edge and all that sort of stuff to actually having, you need to have a break and whatnot.
Keep
so
fresh.
I steer clear of Friday nights and whatnot just to, you know.
Hold hands.
Yeah, that's right. Hold hands on the couch and I still play cricket. That's really important to me because it means that, I mean, the problem with cricket is the training is on a Thursday night, so I'm often, you know, in between sending one down, trying to get the phone out and back something in the first. But at the same time, it's great to get out of the house and just have, you know, I think most punters probably, they're on their own. You know, you're looking at your screens, you're working in your bunker, you know, you don't really have much social interaction. So for me, I really enjoy trying to get out on the golf course or, you know, on the cricket field, just have a chat and a bit of banter because you need some sort of
break from it.
Yeah, break from it, because otherwise, it'll eat you up. It will honestly eat you up. So yeah.
And what about you, Troy? You'd be a lot of time at the park, wouldn't you, with your kids?
Yeah, my working week sort of changed when I had kids, and I had to sort of really button down on time and pick the meetings so I used to do probably 11 meetings a week as well, but now I'm doing about 4 or 5, and then I pick apart dogs off my database that go to Horsham and go to Shepparton and go to Warragul, and then I'll sort of scan through that race and put a few videos together and try and frame up a sort of a market there. But I've had to classify Monday, Tuesdays as my Saturday, Sunday, so they're the days that I spend with my family, and then I basically crack in Wednesday through to Sunday. So, and then I break Monday, Tuesday, unless I've got a trial dog or a black booker in the picture. I'll have a rest and I won't bet from Sunday night and through to Wednesday morning, which I find it's worked pretty well for me. So I can have a hit of golf on maybe Monday, Tuesday. It's quiet. We go to the restaurant for lunch or something. There's no one around. So there's a couple of perks to it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and then I guess what what would racing administrators do to, like, let's talk about the game, because you've been in the game for, I don't know, like 15 years. I feel like I've known you for about 20. I think we were in a quaddie one day and I left out a 60 to 1 chance, and I don't think you've ever forgiven me for that. But yeah, you've been around for a long time. So what's changed in the betting landscape from a greyhound perspective? And then a double question, what can administrators do to improve that for you? Because you've seen a lot of change in greyhound racing and betting especially.
For the first 2 years, I was a parimutuel player. So I grew up betting into win pools, Quinella pools and that, and used to spend $90 on a Quinella and $50 on the exacta and $100 on trifecta and $60 on the first four, and have a $50 win bet.
Yeah, right.
Now, flip that now to where I am now, I'll hardly have a trifecta or an exotic bet, and it'll be full ball, win, small place, and a small quaddie. So with fixed odds, the whole dynamics of markets have changed. It's very hard the better you get. The bigger you bet, it's harder to get on early. So I've learnt that just to let the frustration flow away, and if a dog gets knocked off, don't get all upset about it. If you wanted to take $4 and that's gone, and there's $3.50 available still on the jump, cop a small fine. It's what DK said in one of your old things. It's a mental health sort of a bet. You know, it just stops you from going crazy. So I've learnt to put that into my thought process, and tends to work well. As in what you said about the administration, I think I've got a lot of mates who love the speed star factor, fast, quick racing. A lot of my mates now, I'll give them a couple of dog tips, but they'll still love to bet head-to-head on a Friday night, Collingwood v Hawthorn, because it's one opinion versus another. Very simple. You know, they can watch 360 and watch a few interviews and read the papers or get on the internet and see some, statistics and that. I think that greyhounds racing's just got to tap into that a little bit more to get the heads-up punters betting more on it. And the Speed Star turnover showed that, like, the turnover was just through the roof. Yeah. So I think that's little things like that are the way forward, and maybe a couple of meetings where they have, like, 6 minute apart races, a couple of little quick, an hour, fit in like a blockbuster hour. Fit 12 races into an hour, do all the stewards reports at the end of the night. That'll take them an hour and a half at the end of the night, and just make it bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
have
pure entertainment.
Good coverage, exactly right, and crank it out.
So 2020 great.
Yeah, 2020 great.
Exactly right.
Isn't it?
Everyone's time poorer and getting time poorer. And I can see that now with the family and kids and that. And the shorter the stuff and the more boom and bounce there is, it's the way to go. And
I guess the big rage now is like same game multis, and people just like multis in general. It's a cheap way for people to play against a big card of racing. So the Speedster sounds like a perfect product for the multi punters as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's a head-to-head market, isn't it? So as Troy was saying, it's one versus the other. It probably takes a lot of variables out of it as well. You can just have an opinion, one versus the other. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen with 6 other dogs in the race, sort of thing. So I agree with him. And the dogs, there's something pure about a dog one-on-one. There's no I feel like in the other codes, like you'd have a jockey roll to the front and they'd do a tempo of a race, and then another one would sit on its back, and same in the harness. Whereas a dog, the lids go up. They're just going. They're going whoosh as fast as they can. And so then
I think they've got to push ownership better, because I've owned plenty of horses and they just suck the life out of you when they're going no good, like fees after fees. And people don't understand that I've got a few mates into dogs and that, and you buy one and it's an upfront payment and nothing else.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's a free hit, and they're like, even if the dog's not going great, you're not forking into your pocket. And these days, when times are getting tougher and we've had COVID and stuff, it's I think they've got to push that better. It's a 50-50 split, owners and trainers, and no fees. They cover all the medical costs and stuff.
Yeah, it's a cheap.
You can probably get a well-bred dog to the track for 10. Yeah, I reckon. I'm not big into the ownership either, but I have owned a couple, and as Troy said, once it starts racing, you're not going back to your pocket again. So, and the other great thing is they run once a week. So you're not like, once they're up and going, you're not sitting around for 4 weeks waiting for the next start, hoping on a trainer's report. You literally, basically just once a week you can flick the message out and watch it. So,
away you go. It's plenty of product and very engaging. Now, Friday we've got the Melbourne Cup of Dogs, the big punters club. How will you handle the big betting bank? Obviously, I've been in the firing line for a couple of the big streams. You guys saw the big streams and thought, let's have a crack at this. you're someone who likes pressure, Troy. Like when we came to golf today,
You crumble.
You wanted to start betting on the holes, and you seem to thrive under pressure. And the more that's on the line, the better that you seem to go, or you just sort of thrive under pressure. Would that be true?
Oh, I'm a bit of a hustler from back in my younger days, playing snooker and that in pool halls. But yeah, I think it's great. It's something different and something that I think is very engaging. And I'm just hoping that we can get a bit of a ball rolling. And I just, hoping that Paddy and I can sort of work in well, and hopefully my goal would be to, come race 10 or 11 or 12 to have that 50,000 on one at $8 and, try and win $500,000. That'd be something that Greyhound racing it's not really talked of, and it'd just be a big boost for the sport, I thought. If it can go well, I'm just fortunate enough to be asked and happy to do it and happy to try and get us over the line.
Yeah, and you've got your own tipping service at the moment with Inside Track Club through SEN Track. Run us, I guess, through how that operates. I think you do 2 nights a week, and then why would a professional punter leave so much on the table for everyone else? Well, you're giving away your edge, aren't you?
Yeah, well, essentially, but I'd been doing the same thing for a lot of years, and I've been successful, and I thought, I got asked by Hutchie, who's SEN, and he said during COVID it was the perfect time to maybe start up a service, and I said, I'm not just going to put a number service out there at the start of the day. I'm not going to be about that. I'm going to hold off and do something a bit different and put a live Zoom call out 10 minutes before the races, and then you can get my feel of how I see the map and the race being run. And it's we start off with small numbers, and it's kicked goals since, and it keeps growing. So at the minute, it's still going to keep going, and I'm enjoying it. And I've got a good rapport, and there's a good bunch of people in the room. There's all sorts of guys. There's bookies, there's punters, there's sport traders.
A lot of hot workers.
There's a bit of everyone. So no, we're going well, and it's been good.
Yeah. And what about you, Paddy? How do you think you'll handle the pressure if we can get a betting bank of 50, 100 or 150,000? Well, I think it's going to be easier for you guys. There's only going to be 2 of you, so it's less people to, I guess, argue with or to land on a decision. But how do you think you'll handle the pressure of a big bank?
It'll be great fun. Great fun to sort of swing hard. If we win, it'll be all me. If we lose, it'll be on Troy. But yeah, no, I think we're both. I mean, even on the golf course today, we're sort of chatting, and we're both of the agreement that go hard or go home. We're here to have a red hot crack and try and take the top sport lads on, and try and come away with
we're not,
a sizable
for those
profit.
putting in their $50, we're not going to be trying to bet for you to get that 50 back. We're going to try and make you 300 or something like that, it's going to be you've had fun and you've lost your 50. So that's basically our mentality for the night, and hopefully we can try and bet accordingly.
And we did some surveyed some of our customers in the first couple of live streams, and they really wanted us to swing hard and try and go for that $1 million. So I think we had a couple 100,000 in the kick at one stage. So I guess in hindsight, if we could have run the bulldozer or the stratosphere a little bit differently, maybe we would have launched a bit harder, a bit late doors to try and get that that $1 million win up. And I guess to win $500,000 or $1 million, and the sort of limits that Tristan's going to set, I think he's going to make it achievable for you guys to do it. And you guys will be betting a couple of early bets. You'll do some form. You might try and knock off some prices the night before. And then what about out wide? So Sandown's the main meeting. You guys will attack some provincial stuff and some weaker grades?
There's Bendigo Twilights, which we usually one of us will tap into, and then we'll probably get 3 or 4 races out of that. And then Sale night time, which is not really our wheelhouse, but we're going to have to put in a bit of work there and hopefully get a bit of local knowledge out there and out wide. So everyone loves a winner out wide, so we'll be doing our best out wide, Scooty.
Yes, that's what we love. All right, well, head to littlebirdipod.com to register. It's $50 minimum unit buy-in up to $500, and it's going to be a heck of a good time. These guys are 2 of the best guys in the game. Troy's been in the caper for about 15 or 20 years, and Paddy's got 6 years under his belt. And some of the stories Paddy's told me about launching and the Speed Star results that these guys took home, you're in really safe hands here. So I'll be there, Sammy, Jan, Todd will be there, and it'll be from 6 o'clock till around 11 o'clock at night. And we can't wait to do our best on the Sandown Park meeting for the Melbourne Cup of Dogs.
Go the Lone Wolves.
Go the Lone Wolves.
Wolfpack.